Let me share the screen, guys. Okay, so do you see the screen? Okay, good. So before we start for the session today, so I'd like to introduce myself so that we can proceed and know about me. So this is Vikram Kumar, guys, your trainer. I have almost more than 14 years of experience in IT industry. So currently working in technologies like DevOps and AWS as principal software engineer. I've been working with these technologies for 5 years in the current technology, and there is a member of NASCA and qualification of BSc Computer Science and MBA IT. So these are my technical qualifications. So I done my diploma in IT way back in 2003, and a lot of certifications I done. And coming to my job profiles, so this is my career. So from past almost like 14 years, I've been into the part-time teaching. So currently I'm working with an organization called MH Technologies, which is opposite to your Tech Mahindra in the iTech City in the Western Aqua building. So that is how it's about me. So quickly let's go through, jump in into our concept for the day. So first session was focusing on the little bit of the basics, guys, basics of your something about DevOps. So in this session, we'll try to focus on the use cases of version control systems in the DevOps and role of Jenkins in the DevOps, changes of the build process in the DevOps, and role of containerization in the DevOps. Okay. So at the end of the session, I'll take all your questions. So meanwhile, let me go through this for the day. So first thing is our first concept for the day. If you see, so we are trying to understand use case of version control system. So in the DevOps, there is something called version control systems. What is this use? So we're trying to understand the use case, right? Now I'll give a picture, guys. So you'll get what is this now. So for example, if you have a resume with you and we want to update this. So let's say you want to do an update and send it over to another organization. So let's say there is an opening in IBM. So what do you do generally? So whatever the copy that you have, you will have a copy out of it and make changes and send it. Do you agree? Do you agree with me, guys? So whatever the resume that you have, you'll not try to apply the changes on this one. Maybe this is the what finalized one, but still IBM is looking for somewhat different. So what you'll do? So upon the final, you again make a copy and make some few updates in the resume and send it to the IBM. Now my question is, for what reason you're trying to make a copy, and that is the actual reason. So my question is, for what reason you're trying to make a copy? Any guess? Why you're trying to make it? Why don't you make changes on your older file? Yes. So this is a concept. So we are not trying to make the changes here only for the reason we want to keep a separate copy of the original. Am I right? This is what our intention is. Likewise, guys, likewise, okay, likewise, in software industry, developers also keep on writing their developmental code and try to get this developmental code. They'll write the code. So on the day one, they'll write something. On the day two, they'll write something. On the day three, they'll write update something. On the day four, they want to update something. So to track the changes from the day one to the day two to the day three, likewise up to n number, up to the latest one. Getting? So you have some softwares in the industry which can track the changes, which can track the changes right from the day one to the nth place, even the latest save that you have done, or latest save, we call that as commit here technically. But since you guys don't know the DevOps, so I'm trying to talk in very completely plain language. So right from the day one to the latest copy, they want to track the changes. The moment you hit on the save, some snapshot is saved. The moment you hit on the save, some snapshot is saved. The moment you hit on the save, some snapshot is saved. For example, on the day one, there were 10 lines. On the day two, there were 50 lines. On the day number three, it will, let's say there are 100 lines. So the developer, when he is trying to refer to the day number two, it will show him 50 lines. When the developer is trying to refer to the day number one content, it will show him the 10 lines. When he is trying to refer to the latest copy, it will show him the 100 lines. So all this is being managed by a few kind of a softwares in the industry. We call those as version control systems. For example, if you want to play a video game, guys, on your laptop or a desktop, what do we do? We'll say that we want some gaming softwares, right? Gaming softwares, terminology we'll use, gaming softwares. So you want to handle some text processors, we'll say text processors, video editing or editing softwares, we'll say. Likewise, in the industry, we have something called a word called version control systems, which take care of maintaining the different versions with respect to the time and the commit. So I was saying, so for save, technically in the industry, this is called commit. There is a word called commit. So what I'm trying to say is, so the moment on the day one, it is 10 lines. On the day two, it is 20 lines. On the day three, let's say 30 lines. The moment you click on save, I was saying save. Now technical word, you have to rewrite it. We have to say commit. So the moment you do each commit, it tries to save the pointer. We can say the snapshot, or technically it is called tracking the changes. Track the changes. So if somebody is trying to refer the first commit, I can say now 10 lines. If I refer to the second commit, 20 lines. If I refer to the third commit, 30 lines. Now, for example, this 30 lines code is not working. So let's say this is working. Let's say this is again not working. Now tell me, guys, which one you will send it for the production now? Which code you will send it for the production? Second one. I'll give one more example of the use case. So let's say on the day one, there were 50 lines and it seems to be working. On the day number two, they updated it to somewhat made 60. It is also working. And day number three, they made it, let's say 75 lines. It is not working. Now, immediately you have to revert back to this commit. Do you agree? If something is not working, We have to remit it immediately to the back, even in the resume, guys. Think about the resume, same example, the first example. If you messed up your resume, that is the reason you're taking a copy. Do you agree now? You're taking the copy, even if it is messed up, I'm not worried because I have the original one, right? Exactly here, the moment you do a commit, it save the snapshot so that it is not getting disturbed. So whatever the extra lines that you made, roughly here to here, there are 10 lines gap. So if you're trying to revert to this here, it will show you 50 lines. If you're trying to revert here, it shows 60. If you're trying to revert this commit, 75. So this interchanging or tracking of the changes is actual purpose of your version control systems in the industry. Now tell me guys, do you require this softwares for developers? Do you need this? Yes, technically we have to agree because developers keep on writing some code, something will work. We agree. Sometimes it may not work efficiently. We also have to agree with it. Sometimes they will mess up because out of testing, out of thought process, they'll write something, but it seems to be not working. Immediately they have to revert to the changes which was better before. So this is how the industry is running. This version control system softwares are not new to the industry, guys. These are there way back from 1980s actually. 1980s onwards it is there. Earlier it was called RCS. Then it was called VCS. Sorry, SCM. SCM. Then currently in the DevOps era, it is more referred as version. In the Agile era, it is called as SCM, Source Control Management. Source Code Management. This is version control systems. So these are the softwares which will help you to manage your code. Now, a lot of softwares are there. For example, Git. We have SVN. We have ClearCase, IBM product. Microsoft product, we have TFS. We have Tortoise, Mercurial. Okay, the list is so extensive, guys. Among all the three, only 4 are popular in the industry. That is currently the Git, SVN, and TFS. So currently these are the 3 popular brands we have in the industry. Among them, we can say assign the Git rank 1, and currently TFS is rank 2 and SVN is rank 3. If you put in the ranking orders, so Git, SVN, TFS. Got it? So these softwares help you to keep the track of changes of the code that you're trying to make on your developmental code. Subversion, SVN full form is subversion. Got it? So this is a use case of version control systems. Now here in the course, we'll try to learn the Git and GitHub also. So in our course, what happens is we are trying to learn the most popular one, Git and GitHub. The only difference is this is the software, which if you want to ideally implement ideally on a computer, and this is a cloud variant. Or there is some concept called repo here. So these are your remote repos or online repos concept. Subversion. SVN full form is subversion. The name itself is subversion. Okay, so here in the version control systems, we are trying to cover Git and GitHub. Okay, so that is the point here. Now, a lot of tools are there. Be aware, guys, if you know at least one tool, it makes easy for us to understand the other one by almost 60 to 70%. Because, for example, if you are good in driving, let's say, Splendor bike, don't you think you can drive Yamaha? Tell me, guys. If you know Splendor, can you drive Yamaha at least? But you may not be comfortable. I agree. Comfort is secondary. The point is, once you know Splendor bike, at least you know how to drive it. Makes sense for us, right? So once you get grip, you are comfortable with the Yamaha. Same story here. So in the version control system, what happens is, if you know at least one product, if you know at least one product, so let's say Git, okay, Git, and you'll be comfortable with SVN, TFS, lot of other brands, what I was saying, TFS, lot of other brands. Got it? So this is what happens. So you have to focus on the one product and automatically others will come. Now in the industry, what is the demand is only there is demand for Git and TFS. SVN is going down currently in the market. So I'm trying to teach you the Git in the course. Now, if you jump to the role of, one second. So what is the concept for the day? I think I missed one concept. Give me a second, guys. Okay, so we have to cover the tools in the DevOps also. Fine. So we missed one concept. So let me update. So tools in DevOps. So if you come to the tools in the DevOps, so these are the tools. So let me make a note. So in the DevOps, we have different phases. In DevOps, we have different phases, like a lot of phases are there. We have something called plan, code, okay, build, test, release. We'll cover till here. Next, we'll see in the lot of, see, next we have something called deployment. I'll write it here. So deploy, operations, operate, monitor, feedback. You might have got a doubt why I did not write design. Do you agree? Right? Why I did not write design? Some of you guys be aware of design. So design in the DevOps is a part of planning. So design underwent a lot of changes in the DevOps. So we don't see design as a separate phase in the DevOps. So planning and design will go together here. And the new phases are build is a new phase in the DevOps. This operate is a new phase in the DevOps. And feedback is a new phase in the DevOps. So coming to this tools that I'm talking about, I'll try to put in like a chart so that it is easy for you. So here in the planning, nothing to learn, guys, because in the planning section, whatever the tools you are part of the project and they will train you. Let's say you're joining some IBM, they will train you. If you join Microsoft, they'll train you. If you join, let's say Cognizant, they will train you this. Nothing to learn from the market. Be aware. So nothing to learn from the market, this exclusively, because it depends on the project planning tool. So whatever the tool they use for their project, we have n number in the market, they will train you. All the organizations, same story. They'll train you on the planning sections here, whatever the tools they use. Now, actual learning will start from here in the DevOps. In the coding perspective, you have to learn something called version control systems. Just now I just gave the example. You have to learn version control system. Here the point is Git. Git and GitHub is what I am trying to teach you. Next, in the build process, we have a lot of tools in the market. So coming to this, in the build system, we have Maven. We have one build tool called Maven. We have another tool called Gradle. Okay, we have another tool called MS Build, and a lot of tools are there in the market. So I'll be training you on the Maven. Okay. Now in the testing segment, it comes with integration. So Maven can also do the testing activities here. For DevOps, you have to focus on automating the tools, automation of the tools. Now coming to the release management system. So whether you do the manual release or the automation release, it depends on the tools that you use. So overall, to handle all three sections, build, test, and release, we have some tool in the market called Jenkins. So this is what you'll be learning. So Jenkins can handle your build process. Jenkins can handle your test process. Jenkins can handle your release process also. So overall, three functionalities are integrated in the Jenkins. So you'll be learning the Jenkins. Now coming to the deployment tools, you have a lot of tools in the market. For example, Ansible, Chef, Puppet, SaltStock, right? HashiPacker, a lot of tools are there. So I'll be training you on the Ansible, Chef, and Puppet. So these are the deployment tools of your software onto the production environment. Coming to the operate, so these are the internal tools for your tracking. These are the internal tools for your tracking, so which are trained by the organization only. Nothing to learn from outside. So this may talk about what kind of metrics or what kind of communication systems you're trying to use. So those come under operate. Now coming to the monitoring. So you will be learning a lot of tools are there like SolarWinds, Uproot, Zabbix, Nagios. So you'll be learning the Nagios guys in the course. Now in the feedback, it is again depends on the same planning tool. So this same tool will have the connection in the feedback also. So overall, 1, 2, 3. So these are the three areas where you will internally get trained once you get a job. Then coming to the other point in the deployment, again, we have some concept called, there are deployments or of technologies have been evolved here. So in the deployment, what happens is, if you're trying to do the containerization kind of a deployments, containerization means without actual OS, you will deploy your application on a layer of a only supported files. So application generally, normally what we know is application will sit in an OS, correct? This is what we know. Do you agree? So far we know. But a new technology has been evolved in the industry where this application will only sit on the supported files. That means the underlying layer is not a full-fledged OS. So these are the only files which will support your application to run. So this kind of a concept evolved in the industry, we call that as an containerization. So in this kind of technology, we have a lot in the market. So the popular one we are trying to learn is Docker. And again, we have the something called orchestration tool here. Orchestrations tools we call. Here we'll be learning something called Kubernetes. Got it? So overall, if you talk about the things here in the DevOps tools, around 9 to 10 tools you'll be learning. So I'll make a list once again. Now the point is, so before learning anything in the DevOps, the fundamental thing is you need to have the knowledge of Linux. Until unless you have a Linux knowledge, handling the DevOps may be a tough job. But the question comes is how much knowledge of Linux is required. So there is a misconception in the market that we need to be Linux admin. That is incorrect. This is not right. This is not right, because Linux administration knowledge is not required. If you have, that's well and fine. The only point is operating knowledge of Linux is required. Operating knowledge. Like we do very comfortable with the Windows, correct? So in the Windows, you can install the app, remove the app, right? You can do little bit of small troubleshooting, correct? So that is called operating knowledge. You know how to operate your Windows. Likewise, you need to know how to operate a Linux machine also. So that is called operating knowledge. So this is like an operating knowledge sense. We can say this is like more than a basics and less than an admin. That means you're acquiring the minimum average knowledge here. That is called operating knowledge. Got it? So the course covers your Linux part, minimum required for your Linux part, point number 1. Then we'll cover some concepts in the Linux administration, some, not everything. There are 4 Linux administration concepts required here, so which I'll be teaching. And the third point is you have scripting, shell scripting, most importantly Bash. Then you have tools like, fourth one, Git, GitHub. So this is one set. Jenkins, Maven, and something called check style. This is code coverage tool, guys, check style. So 1, 2, 3 here. This whatever I underline, these will go in set. Sixth one is your Ansible. Seventh, I'll write it here. Chef you will learn. Eighth, you will learn Puppet. Ninth, you will learn Docker. And 10th, you learn Kubernetes. And 11th, you learn Nagios. And the last tool you'll be learning is Vagrant. So among these guys, whatever I highlight, see, let's say I'll put single star, that means minimum basic, without which you cannot survive. See, whatever I kept star, that is a minimum expectation currently in the industry. That is a minimum expectation currently in the industry. So in the industry, what happening is, if you say you know DevOps, means this is what they are expecting. Linux admin, and shell scripting, at least one shell. This is also important. Star, GitHub, Jenkins, Ansible, Docker. And if I talk in other fashion, Nagios and Vagrant, they do not have much weightage in the DevOps profile. And based on this, you'll not get jobs technically. So whatever I kept star, that is a prerequisite. And Kubernetes is currently in the demand in the market. Okay. So guys, always remember, every tool will have 3 angles. Always remember, whatever in the DevOps I'm talking, So each tool will have 3 angles. You will have developmental side of learning. You will have the administration side of learning of the tool, admin. And you have the implementation. Third one is implementation. So you guys come under implementation style. For example, Kubernetes ticket. Kubernetes, you have something called developmental section is also there. Administration section is also there. Implementation is also there. So you have to learn this segment, not admin. So Kubernetes administration itself will take about 2 months of time. 2 months. So likewise, so everything in the DevOps you will be learning from the implementation side. That is what industry is expecting. Got it, guys? So don't be under wrong impression that you're trying to learn development or you're trying to learn administration. So you're trying to go through the course via DevOps side. So that is called implementation. And each tool that you take, if I put the time frame, so Linux or Linux admin, whatever it is, okay, institute provides free of cost these courses. I think they have some time frame, so check with them. And apart from this, if you go with the Git and GitHub, this will take 1 week of time. Jenkins and Maven and Checkstyle, this will take 1 week. Every tool is 1 week, guys. So Ansible is 1 week. Your Chef will take 1 week. Your Puppet also will take 1 week. Docker and Kubernetes will take 1 week. More roughly, not exactly 1 week. It's like 7 to 10 classes it will take. That means days if you count, 7 to 10 hours of time it will take. So that means almost it takes 2 weeks roughly. Then what else we left? We have something called Vagrant and Nagios. This is just 1 day is sufficient. 1 class. So majorly this is like 6 to 8 weeks of time it will take, guys. If you go by the head count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and this is if you take 1, 7. So roughly inbuilt time itself is 7, and it can go up to 8 weeks of time. Got it? So these are the tools. And in the each segment, guys, we have a lot of tools in the market. So don't try to learn the tools which are not in the demand. So that is what the criteria is. So learn the tools which are in demand. And here we are not trying to learn any programming language, be aware. So to become a DevOps engineer, nothing to be, one more thing we forgot here, shell scripting. Shell script will also take 1 week. So head count is 8. So 8 weeks of time. So we'll be covering this concept on Linux because all the tools are evolved in the Linux platform. And be aware, guys, some tools will not work in Windows. Getting only few tools will work in Windows, and most of the tools, that means 80% of the tools will work on Linux hosting. So we'll be practicing more on the Linux only. Till Jenkins, you can do it on Windows. After crossing Jenkins, everything on Linux. Got it? So that's the point here. Next, if you see the role of Jenkins, guys. So if you see the role of Jenkins. Now, how many of you know the Jenkins? Jenkins, guys. So Jenkins is called CI/CD tool, continuous integration and continuous delivery. So people have a wrong impression that it is continuous integration and continuous deployment. It is not continuous deployment. It is called continuous delivery tool. So CI/CD, continuous integration and continuous delivery. So we'll see in depth when we go through the course, but you have counter products to it. Counter products, we have Azure. In the Azure, we have Azure is one counter product. Bamboo is one counter product. TeamCity is one counter product. What I mean to say counter product means competitor products. TeamCity, okay. Then we have something called Travis CI. So these are all the alternative products to the Jenkins, which have their own market. But in the segment of the CI/CD, Jenkins is a leader in the industry from almost like 5 to 6 years, and this will stay for next 10 years also. Getting? So Jenkins is a leader. So Jenkins role is to do your build process. Jenkins role is to do your build. Builds means checking the syntax of the code that is written, and to undergo the testing activities, implement the testing patterns, and come out with the testing results and make it available for the release. So these are the three major activities that happen in the Jenkins. Got it? So that is a significance. So making everything possible like build, test, and release in a single go is called pipeline. Okay? So a lot of terminologies are there here. So we'll deep dive into it when we jumping into the concept. Now, okay. Then coming to the another one, what are the changes in the build process in the DevOps? So don't you think we have this is a big question. What are the changes of build process in DevOps? Any guess? Tell me guys, any guess? Don't you think in Agile we have a build? That's a question. Tell me guys, how many, if you are from software industry, some of you might have experience working already. Don't you have the build process in Agile? The answer is yes. In every project, guys, whatever project, whatever the model that you take, we will have the build process. But how it underwent in DevOps is they see this as a separate segment now. They separate it as a phase. That's a big challenge now. There's a big thing or big challenge you can say. In Agile, this build process was not a separate phase. On waterfall, right? A lot of older models prior to the DevOps, they did not see the build process as a separate phase. But in the DevOps, big weightage is given because from last 20 or 25 years, there were some experiences in the industry in the build process which had not great. I mean to say, they are not great. The results are not great. To overcome this problem, they introduced the build phase as a separate thing in the DevOps and they automated it. And please be aware, guys, in entire DevOps, okay, build process is a highly automated phase. Automation, DevOps itself believes in automation. So in entire DevOps, build process is highly automated phase. So only thing is build was there right from the day one. The only question is significance was not given. So in the DevOps, the highest significance is given for build process. By giving this significance, they have overcome the problems of the industry which they are struggling from 20 to 25 years. That's called malpractices of some people call it as malpractice also. So there are some malpractices happening in the build process. Without build, they'll pass the code to the environments. This is happening in few companies. Without build, they'll send it to the environment. If the build is happening, if even the results are not good, they are sending it. So now that means these are taken over by the human being, which are in manual. Now what they've done is here, they come up with a tool which is highly automated, without which a code cannot get into the environment until it is qualified. Qualified in the sense, if the build is fine, test is fine, everything is fine, we'll set a metric here. Until unless all the metrics are met, the code cannot go into your environments. Productive environments, it can never go. So that is how. So a lot of other things are there, but primarily they separated it. Once they saw the separation, big thing is they are able to reduce the error rate, guys. This is a big thing they are able to achieve. Reduce the error rates. If you're trying to reduce error rates, there is another metric which goes on a positive way, that is quality. Do you agree? So quality of the output of the code seems to be great now. The quality of the product is going at a great level. Yes, they're able to focus on reducing. Earlier, there were errors, but somewhat overlook was there. So that is in the control of the human being there. Now they automated it. No more human being. So tool will decide if what is correct and what is incorrect. So that is how things are happening now. Now coming to the another last question here, the role of containerization. The role of containerization, guys. The role of containerization. Now tell me what you know, guys. So if you want an application, this is what we know so far. We'll have an hardware, we'll have an OS, and upon which we'll install the application. Do you agree? This is what we know, correct? If I'll talk in an organizational level, see, same diagram getting replaced. In an organization, what happens is same hardware, they'll have the hypervisor installed, that is VMware's hypervisor installed, upon which they'll create the image, Windows image, and they dump their application here. Another image, they'll dump the application. Another image, they dump the application. So this is what more real-time environment. Do you agree, guys? This is our computer. I'm talking about our computer. And this is what in organization happens. On the hardware, we'll install hypervisor softwares like VMware kind of stuff, upon which we'll have create the operating system clusters, and upon which we'll install our applications. Now, in this architecture, which came, this kind of technology came in 2002, guys. So in this architecture, there were some flaws are there. You need to understand that there were some flaws which have been observed. So to overcome this problem, a lot of companies started to invest in this technology 2003 and 4. By the time the flaws were came out, I mean to say there are some negative points here, some concerns were there. To overcome this problem, they thought about a solution, and that solution is your containerization technology. You getting? Out of the flaws, they want to come out with a solution. The solution was containerization. That means this technology itself has evolved from the flaws of your VMware. Now, if you deep dive into what is containerization, the question comes is here. Somebody questioned why I should have a full OS for running my application. This was the question. See, in this OS, do you think that every file is helping your application? Tell me, guys, do you think in operating system, do you think every file will help your application? For example, in my computer, I have Paintbrush. I have a lot of games, Windows games come in inbuilt, right? Calculator, a lot of unnecessary programs are there. Do you agree? Which we never use, right? Still, they're part of the OS. If they're part of the OS, this is what is happening. They're running, they're consuming my CPU, they're consuming my space, hard drive space, they're consuming my RAM also. And you know that some processes are running without for no reason. I don't know for what reason they run. Correct? We don't know. They keep on running. At the end of the day, we come to know that, okay, this is running for no reason. I'm not using it. Correct? So this is what the problem was in the VMware. So somebody thought why we should have full OS here. Why can't we develop a layer here which will only help my application to run? That was a thought. You're getting, that was a thought happened out of intention. So this thought process went on for 2 or 3 years, and out of this, a solution has emerged. So that means they are able to dump the application on a layer which will have the supporting files or libraries or dependencies which will help your application to run. That's it. So this kind of a form they have developed, or we can say this kind of an image they developed. So this kind of a technology, we call it as containerization. Got it? So in this kind of a technology, Dot Cloud was a leader, and Dot Cloud company was renamed as Docker. You got it now? Who is a Docker? Lot of companies invested in this kind of technology, guys, because when some problem is there in the industry, so companies start investing and come out with a solution. So likewise, Google has invested and their product is called Kubernetes. Apache Foundation has invested, their product is called Mesos. Getting? Linux has invested RHL platform. Okay, so they have, I'm not getting that name, I don't remember. So let's see. Oracle has invested their technology, we call it as zones. Like Docker invested, the company itself is Docker and the product is also Docker. So this is what happened, guys. This is called LMCTFI. So LMCTFI. So these are the products, guys. So Kubernetes, Mesos, these are the products. What I'm trying to tell you is, now think about the container now. Do you think is it good or bad? So that means in your underlying layer, you're trying to remove all unnecessary stuff. That means you're trying to go to the hotel and asking for a meals. See how the meals, plate meals, or you're asking for specific ingredients. So let's say when you order a meals, even you like it or don't like, you'll get 5 or 6 curries, right? Yes or no? Even you like or don't like, they'll give a pack of 6 curries. Now you are trying to be very specific. So when you're ordering, you're saying, I just need only this curry or this curry along with my rice. That's it. Or chapati. Just I want the chapati just with so and so specific A or a B or a C. That's it. So that means in overall industry, operating system has underwent some changes now. So they removed all unnecessary stuff which is sitting, which is not required for our application at all. So they come out with a solution called, people also call this as mini OS, guys, but I don't agree. You should stop using this mini OS word. So they come out with an word called, this is more appropriate, core OS files, which will only support your app. That's it. This is the right word to use. So without this core operating system files, your application will never run. So I would replace the word saying core OS files. That will help you. Right. Got it? So this kind of a technology is called containerization. So by this, what happened is space has come down. Okay, utilization has come down. Okay, requirements have come down. So this is doing a lot better. So currently your entire cloud, you hear right, cloud. So 60% of the cloud is dependent on this technology. For example, your Facebook, you're thinking that Facebook. So each account that you create is a containerization. Each account that you create is undergoing the containerization concept. Yeah, lot of things, performance, everything is improved. Most important thing is security is improved. Okay. So this is all about the second session, guys. Now I am ready to take your questions. So I may not see your chat previously, but start posting your questions now. Go ahead and post your questions and I'll answer to your questions. Kindly those who have posted the question, I request you to post once again so that I'll give answer. So Git and GitHub. Guys, if your company is, see, end of the day, you tell me guys, from your knowledge, tell me, you will have, Sumant is asking, okay, what is this? Siddharth is asking, no, not Siddharth, Ravi. So see Git. So let's say these guys are writing the code on their computer. Do you agree? All the developers, you'll have, let's say each developer has their own computer, each computer. Now tell me guys, do you allow these guys to keep the code on their computers, or you want them to send to some centralized server? You tell me that point, first of all. Sorry, no, a lot of developers you will have in the team. Everybody writes the code on their PC and saves them and goes home. Now, end of the day, where you'll have? End of the day, you should have all the code sitting at one place, correct? Yes. So all the code is coming and sitting in one place. We call this as centralized repo or centralized server, you can say. Will not go technical in depth. So this is a point where everybody is trying to send the code. Now, if this server is owned by your organization, see the point. If this server is owned by your organization, then GitHub is not required. I repeat, when the server is owned or maintained by your organization, then GitHub is not required. If they do not want to maintain their own server and they want to be dependent on third-party hosting, one of the third-party hosting is your GitHub now. So they will arrange the server for you where you will dump the code and access it from anywhere. You got the point? So it's all about the server, guys. So like GitHub, you have a lot of third parties. Hundreds of companies are there. So among all these third parties, GitHub is most popular. If you're trying to maintain your own server, GitHub is not required. You got it? Okay. So you're trying to avoid your own server and just go ahead and be dependent on third party called GitHub and trying to host all your code over there and share it across your team. That means you're trying to use the server of a GitHub for saving your code, and you'll pay concept, guys. So let's say you're trying to per month, it may cost you 500 rupees. Example I'm taking 500 rupees. All headache is gone. See, GitHub will maintain the server. So here to maintain a server, you need to buy the server first thing. You need to buy. You need to arrange one candidate to look after this server, admin. Again, power bill, AC bill. Think about all the maintenance stuff, guys. I'm talking about more realistic. So maintenance stuff. See, so all these maintenance are there. Here, you just say pay around 500 bucks, headache free, right? Every maintenance is done by GitHub only. Only you're just dumping the code and accessing it. That's like. So currently in the market, Git is good, guys. Git is good. So can I see last question? Hold on, guys. Hold on. A lot of questions are coming in. I'll pick up one after the other. Some are repeated, some are not repeated. I answered that. AWS concept will not cover. Uh, in the AWS perspective, only one concept is covered. That is your EC2. So in your DevOps course, only I'll be covering your EC2. Next, most important tools I already gave. Containerization I explained. Difference between delivery and deployment. Delivery is making your next deployable product ready. You'll not deploy actually. So this is making your product ready, and on final day you'll release it. That is called your deliverable. Continuous deployment is all about making the live changes. Implementation of this is called deployment. Implementation of your deliverable is called deployment. Okay, next. How to practice? Guys, to practice your tools, you need to have 8 GB laptop. So don't go with 4 GB. So somebody is asking me, how do you practice? Please be aware. For DevOps tools practice, all the tools are free of cost. I'll provide you. I'll give the tools all links. That means all are open source, free, open source. And to practice, you need to have a laptop or a desktop, which should be 8 GB. Be aware. Without 8 GB, trying to adventure on the DevOps is not good. Till Jenkins, guys. Till Jenkins. Till Jenkins, 4 GB is sufficient. But after crossing the Jenkins, you require 8 GB. Be aware. So, and one more interesting point is you should have an internet. Internet. Be aware. Mobile internet is not a choice. No. If you're trying to depend on mobile internet hotspot, no. The answer is no. Getting, you need to have a stable highly internet because your Docker or Kubernetes or a Jenkins or Chef, they require highly stable internet. So depending on mobile is not just, make sure that you have an internet connection. Okay, then next let me see another question. So Kubernetes application developer is different. Okay, what is the use case? Okay. See, hundreds of containers that you create from Docker will use orchestration tool. To control them, we'll use orchestration tool. We call that as Kubernetes. Got it? And what is Kubernetes? Application developer is altogether different. So application developer role in Kubernetes, you have to be a developer by default. You have to be a developer either in Java or a Python or in .NET, then that would be your role. If you're coming to the administration, specific Kubernetes administration course is there. So which itself will take about 2 months. So I'm a Java switching to, okay, if you talk about this scope, guys, okay. If you talk about the scope, DevOps career is can give you up to 10 or 12 years life, guys. That's it. I'm not saying that it will give 20 or 30 years. So 10 to 12 years of career it will give you in IT now currently. You know that in IT industry, no technology can give you complete career. You're aware of this? In IT, don't be dependent on one technology. When you learn in career, something it will have life only for 10 to 12 years or 15 years max to max, and you have to keep on switching. So for example, I am in my third technology now. So more I have capacity to work for next 20 years. Maybe I'll see more 3 or 4 jumps in technologies, right? So likewise, always be aware, guys. For every 7 or 8 years, please try to change your technology. Okay, that syncs to your path actually. Don't try to jump. For example, if you're from digital marketing, don't try to jump from VMware. Again, from VMware, don't try to jump for, don't try to become developer. And again, don't try to become, this is not a good choice, right? So make sure that it is linear. Got it? So for example, if you're support engineer, admin, then DevOps is a good choice. So cloud is a good choice. Getting, you are a software engineer, that's also a good choice. You are a developer, good choice. Testing, good choice. So DevOps is such a course, guys. It can be taken over by any person who is from IT background. Only the people who should not jump into this are only two candidates. One is your analytical guy who is in data science, who is in stream of data analytics. DevOps is not a good choice for them. Second people in the career is these guys, those who do UI design. Getting? And the third candidate is digital marketing. These are the only three guys who should not jump into the DevOps. They will not have much relevance here. They'll not find their career. And rest of the guys, it's good. You're good, Java. I told you already, any developer can take this. Even if you look into any Naukri resume, you just see, they'll say like Python developer or Java developer or .NET developer, somewhere they'll keep DevOps, right? So DevOps is a way of doing the projects today, guys. So whatever organization that you join, end of the day, you have to learn the DevOps, no choice. Whether you're from Java or Python or from .NET or from Ruby, any language developers, it is recommended to learn. Programming knowledge is not dependent here. If you have already programming knowledge, that's well and fine. Yeah, for Android people, it is required. For Android people is required. Okay. So that's all from me, guys. So I'll stop it here for the day. Okay, some good question on certification. So DevOps certification, we have private certification, guys. Private certification means AWS offers DevOps certification. Azure offers a certification. IBM offers certification. So you don't have any standard DevOps here. Getting there is no international organization which is trying to certify the DevOps actually. You have private certifications. I'm talking. Private means these are organizational certifications. AWS, Azure, IBM. So currently in the market, only these certifications are valid. You got it? Only these certifications are valid. So I am certified in IBM DevOps. So because I worked in IBM for 8 years, guys, so they have I underwent the exams with the IBM, so certified on that. So being a deployment engineer should. So for all deployment engineers, Swaranjit Singh, sorry. So deployment engineer should learn Chef, Puppet, Ansibles, Docker and Kubernetes. Only Docker and Kubernetes will not sufficient. You also need to learn any of these things. What is this robot tool? I don't know. What is that robot tool? Robot tool, maybe you're talking about Google. Google, right? Google automation tool. You're talking about Google. Okay, no. Srinivas Rao, tell me what is this robot tool? RPA, okay. Fine. No, we don't teach that. We don't teach that. So that is RPA. So only just go through the syllabus content. Guys, just go through the syllabus content and get it done. Okay. That's all from me, guys. So please check with the management and try to take the course content of the copy or look into the site. That's all from me, guys. Chalo, see you in the next session. Thank you. Bye-bye. All batches information, please approach the management, Naresh IT management. Please try to talk to them. Okay, thank you. Bye, guys.